The June meeting of the Water and Wastewater Commission. I'll call the meeting to order. Please be advised FATV is conducting an audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. There's nobody in the audience, so we don't need to state their name. And please put your phones on silent mode. And I already did that because sometimes I forget. Let's see. Call the meeting to order, and we have the minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
So I'll accept the motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So we'll start off with no public forum, Water Division, and
Yeah, I just got some updates on some products tonight. There's no votes or anything super critical, time critical, but Boulder Drive project is moving along. Basically, the water main's been installed all the way from the intersection of Main and Boulder down to about where Cushing is or was. They got to do that remaining section under the bridge and through there, back up to Main Street. They're moving right along, hitting a lot of stuff though. There's a lot of brick and debris in the ground. I mean, that whole area just filled with anything you can imagine, and trolley car tracks, not cars but tracks. But so it's been a bit difficult in that respect, but they're doing pretty well. They got the new main installed on Newton Place. They'll be picking up that temporary pretty soon once that passes a bacteria test. We get those results back. They do have to, basically the project's now down to Putnam and beyond there to Lower Main Street. They do have to install 2 water mains on Putnam Street. They put the temporary water in there to serve the old GE building where Leonardo is now. They made that connection today, so they'll be able to start working on that next week and get high and low main from there over to from Main Street over to Boulder Drive. So we did have a connection on Main Street that we were doing. We had some difficulties today because there's a service that we didn't know about that they ripped out of the ground, the contractors, and we had a difficult time shutting everything down. So took quite a while to get things under control and get that repair made, even though it was only a 2-inch service line. That thing was, 1,000 gallon a minute was coming out of there, just flooding everything. So it was difficult. And we have valves that don't work or don't quite hold. But they were able to get the water flow down enough so that they could actually get a wrap around, slide that over where the corporation was, where the service line attached, and get that shut off. So, that's part of doing Main Street. I mean, we're basically leaving no stone unturned as we go through there. We want to clean this up, not just install the new water main, but make sure that everything's connected properly, everything's renewed, so that we don't have problems a year from now, or hopefully not 50 years from now. So, but as part of that, things like this that happened today come up. So, and it was a very hot day for our guys to be working in, as well as the contractors too. So, that was difficult, but they got it done. They still got to do some more work on that connection from Main Street over, but. Like I said, it is moving along pretty well. Next up is, any questions on that? Of course, we're going out to bid for the Main Street project, and we're going to be doing some valving, hopefully this year, late in the year, on Main Street. Not Main Street itself, but the side streets, just to get control of everything. The valves are 120 years old, so. They may work, but they may not hold, or they may not work, or they may break when you operate them. So just when they get to that age. So Main Street, of course, next year will be more difficult. There's a lot more businesses, a lot more traffic that actually utilize that road. Hopefully we'll be able to push them over to Boulder Drive. But when it's all said and done, I mean, all the downtown area is going to be, like I said, we're not leaving any stone unturned as far as making sure it's done correctly. That nothing's left as being old per se. Everything's renewed and done the correct way. So may cost a little bit more, but it'll save money down the road so that when it does get paved, we don't have to worry about digging it up to fix some leak on an old iron service someplace. So yep.
Was today up by the island, right?
Yep.
In the bridge. Was that a planned repair or something?
No, that's where they ripped out the service line. They were installing a new tap there, and when they dug down, there was a service line that was not on any plans from 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And they they hit that service line. It came out of the main, so.
You know me, right? Takes the same amount of time to do it right as it does
Yeah.
to do it wrong. So we just had all those islands put in, right?
Yeah.
Granite.
Yeah.
Is everything gonna get restored properly?
Yeah.
Properly tamped, so in a year, we're not looking at the granite?
Yeah.
Underground? and-
Yeah, you gotta understand though, a year from now, where that same island is, we're going through with a new water main too, so,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll fix it up now. It may not be absolutely perfect, but next year, once we're done, I mean, that's gonna be all ripped up.
I believe those islands are also going to be removed as part of the Water Street Bridge project and then put back by Mass DOT.
Okay,
Not to say we should
yeah.
avoid doing the work now. I think we should
We'll
have the
make 'em
contractor
look
restore
good
it.
for now, they're not gonna be perfect, but knowing that next year.
And I know we've got this balance, right?
Yeah.
We're destroying everything.
Yeah.
In the meantime, so many people are just burnt out with
Yeah.
our roads, you know? And,
Yeah.
you know, we fixed up here at the corner, right by the post office.
Yeah.
We still have, you know, the
Yeah.
roller coaster ramp up there, you know?
Yeah,
It's just you can't,
we're looking at whether we will make a repair before the winter. We're gonna do some work, but if we're gonna be digging that up to do some valving,
I get it.
just before winter, we won't do a repair till then, so.
it's just, you know, it's almost beyond words how bad
Yeah,
our gateway roads are.
yeah. And we're fortunate we have the ARPA money because otherwise, I mean, we're talking, $15 million for all this. I mean, 12 million from,
Yeah, yeah.
or less actually from
So
ARPA.
for some public good news, you've been doing a lot of work over the last
Yep.
4 or 5 years. How many roads are getting paved this year based on the previous work? I know you've got a bucket of roads that.
Yeah,
the city-
well, we're gonna mill, I know, just Boulder Drive, we're gonna mill and overlay that, so that'll be redone, so the traffic has a smooth, ride there, particularly next year when we're tearing up Main Street, but, we're not gonna do a full-depth reclamation, because there's other work that's gonna
Yeah,
probably be
is
done there.
Boulder Drive temporary and then it's gonna get ripped up again?
Yeah,
So Boulder Drive at Putnam will need some work as part of the combined sewer separation project.
Yeah.
And then over by the Water Street Bridge, there'll be some work that DOT has to do as part of the bridge projects. The paving that the water main project is going to take on will hopefully avoid those areas where we're going to be digging in the future. So we're not paying for asphalt just to rip it up again in another year or two. Mark will talk a little bit more about the combined sewer separation projects, but one of those is going to be bid out within the next month or so, and then the third downtown phase, which should take us through that, the lower common, will be bid out later this year in the fall. So there is light at the end of the tunnel with all this stuff.
there's a method to the madness, but all it looks like
Yeah,
is
and I
madness
get it.
right
I'm
now.
kind of asking these questions so
Yeah.
that the public hears it.
Right.
No, there's a certain
What about
sequence.
Boulder? Boulder's gonna go through what phases and then when does that get paved? Next year, this year?
We're gonna pave some of it this year, so.
Yeah, once John's water main work is done, outside of those areas that I just mentioned at the intersection with Putnam and then the Water Street Bridge, that'll get milled and paved this year at the completion of the water main project.
Okay, so the sewer separation on Boulder's all done?
No, they still got to do some, they've got to cross over Boulder from, come down Main Street, go down Newton Place. Do you have to go down
Place.
Putnam too?
I don't recall.
I know you're coming down
I
Newton.
think we
with a
are
six-
coming down.
There's like a 60-inch pipe going down Newton
Yeah.
Place next to our water main and everything else, so then that's got to cross over.
I think it's limited to just Newton and Putnam, and those are
Yeah.
the
Okay.
two intersections
So-
we're going to skip.
90% of it's gonna get
Yeah,
done and it'll be permanent.
yeah,
Some that remains as a part of the sewer separation.
yeah.
Right, and then when we go through, we're going to end up paving it over when we're done.
Okay.
That's about 3 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah, I know
And
there's
don't
been-
we have a list of roads that are gonna get paved this year that were previous sewer separation and water projects?
So there's a list of roads that Polito and Sons is going to pave end of this year or next spring, depending on how quickly their work progresses. But that's within that whole combined sewer separation project that's ongoing right now, CSO 10. So that's going to be like Bond, Arlington, Chestnut, School, like that whole neighborhood that's under construction right now will get paved at the completion of the combined sewer separation project. And then on top of that, DOT is assisting us with paving Princeton Road, Westminster Street, and River Street from approximately the West Wastewater Treatment Plant all the way down through to the roundabout at River, Kimball, and Daniels. So that's another big chunk of paving that'll be done this August. And then Clarendon Street will be going out to bid very shortly, and that'll get reconstructed. And then there's a little bit of remaining Chapter 90 funds on top of all that that'll be used to fund some paving through an on-call paving contract. And right now, we're working with the mayor's office to finalize that list and figure out how far we can get with it all.
Now, we did
Well,
sewer separation in the South Street area, right?
Yes.
Is South Street slated to be paved?
At some point, yes. I think it might be on our 2028 year for a 5-year paving plan, but I'd have to double check that.
Ooh. Okay.
I'm not sure what the age of the water main is out on South Street, but we can talk
Yeah,
about
no, I
that
think
after.
it's fine.
Yeah. But Electric Ave is in bad shape. That section between South Street and the roundabout at Rollstone needs to be paved badly. Same with Airport Road from Bemis to the bridge over the Nashua. Those are two really bad stretches.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, South Street coming down it, it's just destroyed. You know? And again, I'm bringing it up because people ask me all the time. I don't have the answers, so I figured this is a good forum. People can hear it. But, perception is everything, right? And our gateways are so bad and I just thought that maybe where South Street had all that separation done, it's awful that was on
I believe,
the list, but I guess not.
I believe all the utilities have been done. I need to check in with Unitil on that,
Yeah,
but I know Unitil finished a major project out there just before the combined sewer separation went.
Yeah, I mean,
Combined sewer separation get finished last year.
on a humorous note, by 2028, you'll need a Ford Bronco to go down South Street. Thank you.
I can get you that exact year.
No, it doesn't.
That it? Next, SCADA project is winding down. We're going to be finishing up the final stuff in the next couple months. Probably the biggest part left is just the Montechusett Industrial Park, the pump station there, the generators installed there. Finishing up some stuff there. Just a lot of loose ends are tied up, so been a long time coming. So I just wanted to let you know, I think we'll pretty much be all 100% done in July, so by the end of July. Maybe a couple, items or whatever, but, so that's a good thing, and it's been working as well as we could have hoped, so. Last thing I had was just PFAS. I was hoping to have some more results. We did some testing a couple weeks ago. We didn't get them back yet. I was hoping to present those, whatever, just to see what we had. We tried sampling some additional points in the plants and in the system and stuff. So after the last meeting, though, there was some stuff on the social media about our results. I mean, we're fully in compliance. I mean, there's new limits coming out by EPA. That's 4 parts per trillion. We had one. Out of all our samples, one sample was over 4 parts per trillion. So, our plant at Ringe Road doesn't have any PFAS, and the regional plant, like I said, we had one sample there. So, even at that limit, I mean, anybody who drinks even a lot of water is getting limited exposure. There's more exposure to you in your normal daily life. I don't think people realize that. They think that the only place that PFAS are is in water, but it's not. And to go to that point, it's like when somebody samples for PFAS, they can't wear anything Gore-Tex, they can't wear anything wrinkle resistant, they can't wear anything stain resistant, they can't wear any type of cologne or makeup or anything like that. They have to wash their hands a certain way. I mean, they have to be careful of the room itself to make sure that there's nothing in that room that could, leave PFAS in the air as the sample is collected. So it goes to show you how prevalent it is in our life that we have to be so cautious with everything when we collect samples. And we have had a sample come back, which throughout the whole batch, we've had a blank where, they send blanks, and you take the sample, as you're collecting other samples, take that one that has no PFAS in it, put it into another sample container as if you were collecting a sample, and send that back. We've had blanks show up with PFAS in them. So it was in the air somehow, or somehow there was something in the soap or the clothes or whatever that was, coming out that got into those samples. So all our samples, and that's not uncommon to happen. So just want people to realize, microwave popcorn, those packages, full of PFAS. Pizza boxes, full of PFAS. Starbucks coffee cups, they're supposed to eliminate PFAS from their coffee cups. I'm not sure if they have or not, but I'm not trying to throw anybody in particular on the bus, but just goes to show you where it is in everything, The meat packaging at your grocery store, that all has PFAS. It's in everything,
It's in plastic.
Yep.
And the reason I'm in the packaging industry, the reason why you see it in corrugated,
Yep.
as everybody calls cardboard, is because so much corrugated today has recycled content.
Yep.
And when the corrugated gets recycled, they're using the tape that is on the boxes, gets into the recycled portion of it.
The Teflon tape that they use to seal plumbing fixtures or something, PFAS in it. It's in, all of that stuff. And they're very useful chemicals for our life. Our life would not be the way it is without them, but at the same time, they can be harmful. So, but I just want to be clear, absolutely clear that, we had one sample with one of the contaminants go over like 4 parts per trillion barely. And those are, 5 years ago, they couldn't even test down to 10 parts per trillion. It just wasn't even possible. We had the first few years, they were trying to test for this stuff. All the sample results were thrown out by DEP right across the whole board because the labs just weren't meeting the, the quality standards. Now they can get down to that. But even having said that, 4 parts per trillion is a limit that they can actually test to. If it's under like 2 or 3, around 3, it's always estimated. We think it's in there at 2. That's exactly what the lab result says. So, people should be concerned about their exposure in general in life. What they're, if you're eating microwave popcorn every night, that may not be a good thing, And pizza for supper, and then popcorn later, that's probably, you're getting a lot of exposure there. But, I don't want to put it down, but it's like, we need to be concerned about it. But at the same time, the water system is not, anywhere near to where people's exposure would be coming through, especially at the levels we have with one sample over, an X, 4 or 5 years where we were over the new limits that aren't even in effect for 5 years. So, like I said, I just want to be clear on that. So if we did go over the limits, we're required to notify the public immediately. Not just telling you at a meeting here, we have to mail out something to every customer. If we went over the limit of any contaminant in any of our sampling, we'd have to notify every customer immediately, post it in the paper, put on, social media, and also more than likely mail a notification to each customer individually of that. So, so people can rest assured that if there is anything that's over, they would know about it. Absolutely, wouldn't hide it. That's just not what happens. So, all right. Any questions at all on that, or
Questions? Okay, looks like you're up, Mark.
All right, I have, my first item is a CSO's update. We're in CSO 10, which is in the upper of Main Street. As of June 1st, we're 57% complete. It's due to be completed by the end of December of this year, December 2024. And for the next few weeks, Polito's going to be working up in the School Street, Prince Street, and Arlington Street area. And that'll probably last until the first week of July-ish, depending on the weather. Like Nick said, CSO 32, the first portion of it is currently out to bid. The bids are due back, and they're going to be open on July 11th. Construction probably won't begin this construction season. It'll probably start the next construction season in spring of 2025. And the next part of CSO 32, which is the other portions of that project, which is CSO 45 and 83, that's anticipated to go out to bid early spring next year. So we're starting up where you see us now up in Upper Main Street, and they'll be moving with the next project down, Mechanic Street, Elm Street area will be the next area, and then after that one will be the lower part of Main Street. So that's the updates I have right now for the CSOs. Any questions on that?
Next year is going to be a year of patience.
Patience, yes.
Next year is going to be the year of patience because
There's a lot going on downtown.
their project, our project, Mass DOT bridge projects, it's
Yeah,
going to be a lot of work going on. I can't imagine the value of everything altogether. 100 million next year, I don't know,
At least, yeah.
just in a small area. So, I mean, it's all going to be, 5 years from now, it'll be a distant memory, but it'll be.
It'll look good, too.
It'll look good, everything will be done. And not just pieces of it, all of it.
my next item is staffing update once again. Seem like we're always having issues with staffing lately. Right now with us, we have 5 senior operators down the wastewater treatment plant. The 5 senior operators, they cover the plant 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When the superintendent's not there, they are the license that covers the treatment plant. Well, with the 5 licensed senior operators we have, 2 of them are out on FMLA. And it's kind of unknown how long they're going to be out. Could be a couple more months. And out of the remaining 3, one of those senior operators has family issues of his own. So he's been very sporadic in what he can cover for the vacancies. So we're trying to juggle around everything that's going on, using my license at times to cover the plant if needed. So the remaining 2, they have stepped up. They're covering the plant a lot of hours right now, and they're doing a good job. So hopefully over the next couple of months, this will resolve itself over time. One way that we're hoping to alleviate some of the staffing issues is we petitioned the DEP, the Mass DEP, on possibly getting an emergency grade 6 for one of the wastewater operators. And so they can temporarily bump them up to a grade 6 for a 6-month period of time. And that's like a one-time shot that will help cover the plant during this emergency time. So we're hoping that they allow that to happen, and gives these other 2 guys a break to get some time off for the summer. Also, the superintendent that was down there has stepped down, so I am presently acting as the superintendent also. So I'm doing the superintendent along with the deputy commissioner and sometimes the senior operator. And so we're hoping to get the superintendent filled as soon as we can. But trying to find licensed operators right now is a struggle. The superintendent needs a grade 7 wastewater license, which is the highest one, and it's been historically very difficult to find grade 6s and above. So we're hoping we can get this filled as soon as we can. The future plans, along with the Mass DEP helping out, is beginning July 1st, we're having Arcadis help us do a study down the wastewater treatment plant to see if we can automate the plant to the extent where we can not staff it at nighttime. There's a lot of wastewater treatment plants that aren't staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Due to our complexity, and because we were running 24/7 back when the incinerator used to function, we've never gone down from 24/7. And so we're looking to see if that's even possible. So if we can, and this study proves fruitful, then this may help attract some future people, because the biggest stumbling block they have is the rotating shifts and working nights. If they're coming from a plant that's just 7 to 3, 5 days a week, coming to Fitchburg, it's going to be a big leap for them. So if we can make it more attractive, that might help some of our problems. Any questions?
What makes us different? Why do we run 24/7 and others only?
Well, we're the second biggest wastewater treatment plant in Central Mass. Worcester's the biggest, Upper Blackstone. We're the second biggest, and we've always had 24/7 since the day it was opened back in 1975. Because we're a grade 7 plant, a lot of our functions, especially when the incinerator was functioning, operated 24 hours a day. And so since a lot of those equipment was still functioning, we had to have licensed staff there covering it. But since we've mothballed the incinerator, and we've kind of reduced some of the treatment capacity due to the flow that's coming in. As we improve the CSOs, we're getting less flow into the treatment plant. And so where we used to have peaks of 30 to 40 million gallons a day, that really occurs now. It does happen once in a while when we have torrential rain, but back in the day, it lasts for weeks. Now it just peaks during the rain and it goes right back down again when the rain stops. So there really is no need to staff it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We've never partitioned the DEP to see if it was possible. So that's part of the study, to see if we can. If they allow it, this is great. But one thing we'd have to do is put a lot of the facility into alarm mode, so that if something happens, I'll notify somebody to come in and take a look at it. So it's probably something we could have did a few years ago, but I finally thought that this is the best time to do it. We're running the problems with staffing, and this is one of the best solutions. Any questions? And the last thing I have was the NEPTES permit. We finally got a NEPTES permit back in December. We've been working on the permits from 2010, and they're only 5-year permits. And so it took a long time getting here, but we got the next permit. I've reported in the past couple of commissions on some of the requirements they are looking at. Well, July 1st is when it takes effect. And so as of July 1st, we're going to have to start meeting their requirements. Most of the issues that's going to affect us is testing. They include a lot of testing, PFAS testing, just like John. We have to monitor the influent, the effluent, the river, industries that come into the wastewater treatment plant, and including some of the industries we've never even thought of before, like car washes. If there's car washes connected to the sewer lines, we have to start monitoring them also. So it's going to be a bit of an adjustment as we go through this, but, it's going to be interesting to see what we find. But I don't see any problem with us meeting our permit, from here on out. Okay? That's all I got.
Any questions? No. Any other business? Okay, the next meeting is Wednesday, July 17th, here at City Hall, 700 Main Street. If no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you.